Hello! Welcome to a really cold garage. And it's really cold. Actually cold. Winter cold. It's like in the minuses out there. You can tell I'm only warming up at the moment because I've got my hat on, I've got my coat on, but you know it's properly cold because I've put the shoe covers on. I don't know if you can quite see them there, but yeah, cold feet and the gloves. To be fair, I wear these quite a lot when I'm on Zwift now because it's hands-on handlebars. So anyway, yeah, you'll probably see the title of this. So I'm going to be speaking a bit about my past, my weight, my mental health, and hopefully sharing enough with you to help you or anyone that you might know should they go through the same thing. Because let's be honest, depression, men's mental health in general, it's a huge thing and it's getting better, but we need to speak up more about it and we need to be able to talk about it openly and frankly with our friends and our family. But first, I'm going to get a bunch of miles done on this and I'll join you in a bit. Hello, go heck. Drop me a blanket. So we're in winter mode, aren't we? It's blooming freezing out there. Hope you're all safe. Hope you're all well. Okay, so let's cut into this, shall we? Let's get straight into the meat of it. A few days ago, I posted up a picture of myself from back in 2012, 2013, when I was, in my own words, a fat mess. I haven't told my whole story, not to many people. So I thought I'd do that because off the back of me posting that, I've had messages from people saying, effectively, thank you for posting that, and just telling me their issues, their stories, of what they're going through at the moment. So I wanted to put something together, just to try and help people. First things first, if you've got issues, speak up about them. It's a really, really important thing to do. It's something I should have done, and I didn't at the time. So long story short, we cut back to 2012, 10 whole years ago. It was, in no uncertain terms, the year that changed my life. Entirely. Utterly entirely. I'd left a job to move anywhere else, effectively. I was not happy where I was, and I wanted to make a change. I got offered a job in the Midlands. Now, those of you that know me, I live in the north of England. So I'd moved down there, and it was going okay. It was not exactly what it was advertised. So when I say okay, it wasn't great. I was living with a friend for a while, and then I was in and out of a couple of hotels. I say hotels, one was more like a hostel. And I was living with somebody I was working with for a couple of months or a month. I can't remember exactly. It doesn't matter. Whilst I was working and living with all of these different people in different places, I would be coming back home to Kendal, where we were at the time, each weekend, see the family and the kids. And it was a bit of a struggle. I'll put that plain. I missed the kids and Julia massively every day. And some of the setups that I had was not good. Literally, one of the places I was at was a room with a sink, and that was effectively my home. There was nowhere to cook, a shared toilet. It was a lonely existence. And as you'll see from here, the years leading up to this, I was getting bigger. I didn't exercise at all. I was fit and healthy when I was a teenager and into my very early 20s, but as time progressed, we had kids, comfortability, regular meals. I got lazy, I got big. I don't know the exact weight in English, but from looking back, I'd got up to 105.8 kilos. I'll put what it is there in normal terms. A lot of this was because when I was away, I was drinking quite a lot. I was drinking every night. I would have, a couple, sometimes more of an evening. I was eating far too much. I was eating far too much bad food. And at the time, I didn't realise it, that I was effectively hiding a real low, a proper low. And I didn't know how bad it was. Yeah, it was my way of dealing with what I was doing. Effectively, I couldn't cope. I was, tearful a lot of evenings. I had a lot of chats with Julia in the evenings after being at work and what have you, and I would be a mess completely. Yeah, I didn't know where my life was heading. So obviously I was working away. We were trying to find a house to live in at the same time, and obviously trying to sell the house that we were in, which, you know, if you want to add stress to stress, do that. It's not the best thing to be doing all at once. But, you know, you make a choice. I was trying to make a choice. I was trying to make a change with my life to get me out of being in a bit of a pickle at the time. It wasn't as bad as all that, to be honest. And then to add to it all, Joe and I decided it would be great to get married that year as well. So we effectively rushed all of this through at once. And in the upcoming months, you know, we were planning this, that and the other, and all getting prepared for it. And I think 2 or 3 weeks before the wedding, which was midsummer, we nearly lost my dad to several cardiac arrests, which effectively was the big kicker. We'd had a house sale that had fallen through a number of times, which was hard, obviously living away. And then, yeah, nearly losing my dad. That was a sting in the tail, that really was. Long story short, at my lowest point, I was driving along the M6 toll road at the top speed my car would go, looking for stuff to hit. Fortunately, I think I'm a rational human being. Something kicked in. I slowed down. I got myself back to where I was staying. Got into bed, rang work the next day, told them I wasn't coming in that morning. In fact, told them I wasn't coming in that day. I felt absolutely terrible. I just wanted the world to swallow me up and spit me out anywhere. Didn't matter. Now, I've never classed this as depression. I don't know why. I never saw anybody about it. I should have done, but I could not see the signs. So this is the main reason why I'm putting this out. Read the signs. And if it's not just yourself, if it's your friends that are not right, reach out. Just contact them in any way, shape or form. You know, are you all right? Do you fancy a coffee? Do you fancy a brew? Do you fancy a chat? Anything. It's so important. Through a combination of family, i.e. Julia, and having kids, a couple of very, very dear friends, and one particular text message from a mate who I wasn't living with for a time down there, and it was the most innocuous little thing. It was, do you fancy coming 2 hours for tea tonight? When I was at my lowest, that I've got no issues admitting this, floods of tears. It was just that little spark of humankind at work. And I don't know how conscious they were of it at the time, but they know, they've been told, they've been thanked for this. They probably saved my life at the time between that and everything else. And it was effectively the turning point from what I was then to what I've become these days. Yeah, I was a big fat drunk mess. That's a fact. So what we ended up doing, Ju and I, we had our wedding, which was the best day ever. There's reasons I'm not going into on here. It was the windiest midsummer's day we've ever had. It was also the day that the Olympic torch came through Kendal past our wedding venue. It was supposed to be brilliant. It was going to be brilliant. The weather tried to destroy it, and down to friends and family all clubbing in together, it became the best thing that's ever happened. And it's, you know, it's one of those weddings that everyone remembers because it was mental. Anyway, yeah, so we had the wedding. My dad managed to get to the service, despite being 2 weeks out from having stents put in. Still with us now. I love that. Hi, Dad. Still with us now. But that was the kicker for me, getting better, both mentally and physically. I was having twinges up here. I went and got myself checked out. Turns out it was nothing, but I was a big mess. I was having musculoskeletal issues at the time. And that sort of all tipped the scales. I was at Blackpool Hospital during all of this, before we got married, because I was ferrying my mum up and down, and myself, to see Dad daily. I'd had taken leave of absence from work. I was going to have 2 weeks after we got married for honeymoon. That got binned off. I brought it all forwards. And effectively, you know, they rang up. They weren't on great terms with me. I wasn't on great terms with them. I just said, listen, I'm not coming back. I've had enough of this. And I got a job back with the company that I'm back with now, effectively. So, a lot of things happened in 2012. So since then, it's all of this that happened has made me acutely aware of the human psyche, how people operate, how the human brain works, and how crap we are at dealing with it or asking for help or even recognise it in the first place. So basically this is a please to everyone. If you're not right, just tell someone. It does not take much. I discuss this quite often with people, and so many people are not in a good place so often. It's not rare. Mental health is health. Granted, you might not be able to see the signs in yourself, but there'll be a point here or there where you can see it coming and you can speak to somebody. There is always somebody there. Speak to me if you want. That's fine. I will talk to anyone about this. And you've been in a hole. You're most appreciative to people reaching out to you. So I'm reaching out to everyone. Speak to somebody. Speak to your friends. Speak to your family. One thing that has been an issue in the past and is getting better is, especially with men, is being able to speak to your mates frankly about it. Even mates that I know and love greatly, it's not spoken about enough, I think. Obviously, wife, partners, sons, daughters, husbands, wives, be honest and open, because the one thing that will get anybody to the other side is being open and honest, and then being able to talk to, if needs be, medical professionals. It's so important. Now, obviously, with all of this, we got Alex's diagnosis for muscular dystrophy, which has started me on the road to exercise. Exercise, be it cycling, running, swimming, climbing, obviously things I do a lot of, anything to get you, as far as I'm concerned, outdoors, into the open, or to give you a boost of self-achievement or self-worth or anything, is just the best thing ever. Exercise really does set you free. It stimulates your brain. It makes you feel great about yourself. It's just fantastic. Plus it means you can eat a bit more if you want. I can give more details about any of this at any point. Obviously, I'm not going to go and do another full video on this because I want to try and get everything in this one. There's a lot of people out there that will love and care for you, that do give a monkeys, and will listen. That's the thing. It's becoming much more understood these days, is mental health as a very part of our core being and our roadmap to togetherness and to happiness. So yeah, get yourself out there. If you're not in a good place, tell someone. There's people out there. If you don't have a close circle, talk to a stranger. There's plenty of people out there. There's plenty out on social media. There's cries for help. There's roadmaps. There's plenty of places that you can go to speak to others. Do it. It's worth it. It really is. And I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for just that little spark of humanity and kindness that is in every one of us. So let's spread the joy, spread the love, and let's keep everyone happy and together. So I think that's going to do it for me. It's nearly Christmas. It's frosty outside. Have a good one, guys.